Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good morning and welcome to the Coffee with Graeme Newscast on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Today's newscast is brought to you by Pure Anada, Fabricland, Winkler, and Evolve Green. It's awesome to finally have the newscast return here to ASTV Productions. I couldn't be happier. And to kick off the start of the new era of the Coffee with Graeme newscast, I'm going to be joined by two guests in today's episode. The first guest joining me today is going to be Ferdi Nelissen. He's going to be joining me to talk about the 5 latest university commitments that have been made from the MFHL. And then after that, my second guest joining me is going to be Brian Yon, president of Westman High School Rugby, to talk about the cancellation of the Varsity 15 season that was announced on April 9th. So sit back, relax, enjoy today's edition of the Coffee with Graeme newscast here on ASTV Productions. I'll be back with Ferdi Nelissen right after this first commercial break. Joining me now to talk about some of the latest commitments in the MFHL is Ferdi Nelissen. Ferdi joined me back on the Christmas Eve episode. It's been a while, Ferdi, but it's great to have you back on the show. Always a pleasure. So we're going to dive into some of the commitments now, starting off with this one. Joey Simon, team captain of this year's Yellowhead Chiefs squad, committed to MacEwan University for the fall of 2021. MacEwan University, located in Edmonton, Alberta. I mean, this is a player that has just gotten better and better every year, has grown into one of the most consistent goal scorers in the league. So just looking at this MacEwan squad with such a experienced forward group coming into next season, how much impact do you think that Simon is going to have on this MacEwan University squad?
Well, I think she's the kind of player that even if she can't get into the top six to start with, she has unique skills with her speed and her tenacity that she can be used on penalty kill. If you're talking about her 200-foot game is good, so I would not be scared to use her in a checking role. I actually think she's going to step in and become an impact player pretty quickly. She's got a relentless work ethic. She's got a high level of skill. She plays the 200-foot game, and she's physically strong. Like she's not an overly huge player, but she doesn't lose battles. So I think it's always a step up when you come up from U15 to U18 and then U18 into university college. But I think with her work ethic, I think she's going to be there pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely a player. Like you said, she's on the smaller side of things, but she's a player who's physical, like you said, can play that 200-foot game, and man, she's turned into such a consistent goal scorer and an effective one at that. Let's move into this next one. Sandrine Garofalo of the Winnipeg Ice, senior defenseman, commits to Sunny Canton Kangaroos for the fall of 2021. Sunny standing for State University of New York. It's located in Canton, New York. I mean, what's been said about her on the MFHL's post that you guys put out, just she's known for her strong skating, her defensive play. She can also contribute offensively as she has a quick release from the point and has the ability to read when to jump into the offensive attack. So just looking at this Kangaroos squad who didn't fare too well in this 2020-2021 season, how much impact do you think that Sandrine is going to have for this Kangaroos squad come the fall of 2021?
Well, whenever a program is struggling to get wins and they're bringing in somebody, they're going to give her an opportunity. She is strong on her skate. She's quicker than people give her credit for. She moves the puck really well. She does read and react well in supporting in the offensive zone. They use her in AAA. They use her on the power play and penalty kill. So I think when you're looking at a program that's struggling to compete, I think she's going to get an opportunity, and it's there for her to make something out of if she wants to. Like I said, whenever you're stepping up to college programs, you're obviously going to find out that some of those girls are 4 years older than you. Well, they're in their early 20s now. So you better go prepared, and I think our players in our league do go prepared.
Yeah, and the MFHL seems like they do such a great job of that. I mean, you're playing against the best of the best for that level for this age group. Let's move into the Eastman Selects. They had two players that have committed to ACC, which is Assiniboine Community College, for the fall of 2021. These are two defensemen that have both been assistant captains. They were assistant captains this season. I mean, well, both of these players, Mackenzie Dixon and Lacey Gaffrey, both of these players known for their work ethic. I mean, Lacey known for her compete level, and Mackenzie as an undersized defenseman known for her strong positional play. So for these players, I mean, being defensemen, they haven't put up the points, right? They're not those offensively strong defensemen, but it seems like they're going to add some good depth to this ACC squad. Just where do you see Mackenzie and Lacey fitting into this very strong Assiniboine Community College squad who's coming off a championship in the 2018-2019 season?
Well, it's hard to tell because you don't know how many girls ACC has retained, right? 2-year program. They play in the American College Hockey Association. And you're right, they did win that level a couple of years ago. And it's so, it's going to be tough hockey, but I think there's an opportunity for them to become impact players because that's 2 years ago already. And with what's happened this year, there are obviously some players that are going to be moving on. And so there could be some real openings for them to step up. They're both They're both very capable in their own end. They're defensively responsible. They move the puck well. The one thing about East Manitobam's teams is his defense follow a system pretty well, and they limit their mistakes. So they're well coached, and I think they'll step in quite nicely at ACC.
And a quick thing about ACC, just a team that seems like they're adding a lot of talent from the MFHL this season. I mean, I've only been covering the league for this unorthodox season, the season that really wasn't even a season, but they've added a lot of talent from the MFHL. Can you speak about just how ACC has been able to scout so well and build a program that it seems like they've been able to turn into a power throughout the years?
Well, I think, well, for one thing, it's one of only 2 hockey programs for the females in our province outside of the University of Manitoba when it comes to post-secondary education. So if girls are wanting to stay home, it's the only other option if the Bisons aren't interested in them. And not everybody wants to go and get a university degree. Some people are looking for a 2-year educational program, right? Trades. And so it's an ideal setting. So, when you're out recruiting, the other thing as a coach you've got to do with these universities is obviously find out where the players are with their academic desires. And if ACC fits that player, then you got to make it attractive for them. And I think they do. And as somebody who's talked to a lot of families about this over the years, the one thing you got to remember is you're not picking the school for hockey. You're picking the school because of the academics. If it has a hockey program that can subsidize your daughter's academics, that's a bonus. But you don't go to school to play hockey. You're a student athlete, and you should remember to get your education set it up as a priority.
Yeah, for sure. Like these athletes are always picking, always saying education comes first over hockey, always. And it's great to know, like you've said, that they still think that at the next level. Let's move into this latest commitment that was made out of the Winnipeg Avros. Second-year defenseman Maggie Matani commits to the University of Windsor for the fall of 2022. They play out of the Ontario University Athletics Conference of Canadian Youth Sports. It's been said about Maggie that she was an integral part of the Avros D-Corps, a solid defender who provides offensive support. She's put up 18 points in 65 games played in her MFHL career up until this point. It's also been said she's a solid skater, has an excellent compete level, and is utilized by her coaches on both the PP and PK. So for Maggie getting one more year to develop her game and craft her skills in the MFHL coming up in the 2021-2022 season, how huge of a season will it be for Maggie to do those things come the season coming up to, move closer and closer to getting closer to that university level?
Well, now that you've got a commitment, it's no time to get complacent, right? The coaching staff still wants to see you progress, get physically stronger, work on your skills, work on your skating, work on your puck skills. You just got to keep doing all the right things. And she's in a very good program with Ashley Van Aglen and the Avros. I mean, they run a solid program. They do very well at getting their players commitments. They do an outstanding job, as do most of the teams in our league. Ashley played university hockey and she knows what it takes to get to the next level. And I don't think she'll let Maggie rest on the fact that she's got a commitment. You don't want to do that. You don't want to take a step backwards heading in. And I don't think that's the character of the players that are trying to get those opportunities. She'll be excited to get it. And I think she'll be excited to make sure she's moving forward to being ready for 2022 season.
Ryan, thank you so much for joining me on the newscast this week, where we're going to get into some stuff about what was said in the news release, starting off with this one saying the Varsity 15's rugby season is canceled. Somewhere in there, you said that, with the government extending the current regulations to April 30th, it takes away 3 weeks of our season we won't be able to recover from. So starting off with this question, just who was all involved in this decision to come to the decision to cancel the Varsity 15 season?
Yeah, we our executive, which is the governing body of Westman High School Rugby. So our other executive members, our vice president, league treasurer, secretary treasurer, our head of officials as well, and myself. And we did put it out to the teams and the members of the league as well. And we came to the conclusion that with the government extending the current orders to April 30th, that it just wasn't going to be possible to run our league as it normally does. We would have lost approximately 3 weeks of our season. And the challenge, of course, is, not being able to, under normal circumstances, train and prepare for the season. And it's already a short window as it is. We typically only get maybe 6-7 weeks for our season to run normally. So, with us losing, close to half of our season, it just wasn't feasible for teams to be able to prepare and to be able to safely train for the season. If we would have, if we were to start the season, if everything was, to return to normal, you're looking at teams taking at least a week or two to prepare for any type of competition, and that takes you into the middle of May. So we just felt that it just wasn't going to work, wasn't going to be feasible for us to run a season under the current conditions.
And then in the next part of the press release put out, it said that you guys are hoping to see a return to play post by April 30th, so students can at least get out and train, and maybe even the possibility of some exhibition games in May. At this point, is there a plan in place to have this stuff happening, like training and maybe some exhibition games if it does come to that?
Yeah, the real challenge here is, the current protocols and things that are put in place. So Rugby Manitoba is the governing sport body in Manitoba for the sport, and they have just recently released a return to play model. It doesn't include contact, which of course, due to COVID. And so right now it's a return to play. So it has training protocols. It also has flag rugby. So no contact. So that is in place. Now what happens is that is to be sent out. And then of course the school divisions have to make a decision whether they're going to allow it to happen or not. So at this point, I'm very skeptical of, any type of, as I said, normal competition taking place in May, which would include exhibition games. So we, right now, we're just hopeful that, we can at least get the kids back out on the pitch, working on some run, catch, pass skills, and it's an opportunity for maybe new kids coming to the game to be able to learn some skills and things like that. And of course, we're always hoping that maybe towards the end of May things change, and of course we could possibly set up some exhibition games. But I think at this point, in my personal opinion, that it might be wishful thinking. But I think at the very least, if we can get kids out on the pitch, get them active, because right now it's a real killer for these kids and not being able to play sport. And, I think we talk about healthy lifestyles, and for these kids not to be able to play sports is really, really disappointing. And, we really feel for the kids, especially these students who, they've lost their grade 11, grade 12 years to play varsity sports. And, I'm absolutely gutted for them. And, it's really, really unfortunate that, we're having kids that are graduating this spring, and missed out on their last 2 years of rugby.
And that was Brian Yon, president of Westman High School Rugby, joining me on this week's edition of the Coffee with Graeme Newscast, the second guest in today's edition of the show. And speaking of guests, I'm going to have two awesome guests join me on tomorrow's edition of Coffee with Graeme, coming to you at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time here on ASTV Productions on Facebook and astvproductions.com. Tomorrow, Caitlin Cadrain joins me first to talk about her career in the Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League with the Saskatoon Stars. After that, Connor Grenston, number 22 of the Transcona Railer Express in the MMJHL, joins me to talk about his career in the MM so far. This season, Connor had a league-leading 14 points in 5 games played. Grenston also led the league with 9 assists as well. As for this week's edition of MFHL season coverage, I currently don't have anyone lined up to come on the show, so stay tuned for who will be coming on this week's edition of MFHL season coverage on our social media accounts, listed here. And before I let you guys go, I just want to say a few things. I want to first off give a special thanks to Ferdi Nelissen and Brian Yon for hopping on as the guests in this week's edition of the newscast. I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in today, and I also want to give a special shout out to our sponsors in Pure Anada, Fabricland, Winkler, and Evolve Green. And I'll of course be back on the network tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time for another edition of Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV. You can of course catch it on ASTV Productions on Facebook or on our website at astvproductions.com. But until tomorrow, folks, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth, signing off now. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. And until tomorrow, I'll see you then.